This is Diesel for We the People News. Alright, so this is a common learning video. I'm not an attorney, nor care to be an attorney. Always look around you. Never straightforward, y'all. For the outside forces may want to commit harm upon you, like they did to this guy. Otto the watchdog. Alright, this is an interview with Real News Network. Okay, and she does a lot of great work. So subscribe to her if you have not done it yet. And she puts words out there. You know, every one of us has our little own way of doing things, and she's really good at what she does. So subscribe to her, y'all. Anyway, here we go.
What might happen? I'm joined by Otto himself. Otto, thank you so much for joining us.
Hey, I appreciate you for doing it, Taya. Thank you.
So, Otto, you've been offered a plea deal. Can you talk about it? And are you going to take the plea? And if not, can you tell us why?
So, I've been offered several plea deals. And the trial is allegedly coming up soon, so this is currently still pre-trial. I'm not inclined to take the deal, and I'll tell you why. One, I've said that I've admitted guilt to things in the past that I didn't do, and that was 20 years ago. Am I that old? Something like that, about 20 years ago. And it still bothers me. I still have problems, with myself. No, I don't think it affects it may have affected my life, but it still bothers me. So no, I can't. I'm not going to do that again. So the deal is that I plead guilty to everything they accused me of, and they would let me go with no jail and no fine. It's just a conviction, and honestly, I think for most people, that's a reasonable offer. Whether you're guilty or not, that's a reasonable offer, and that's why most people take a plea. I sit in a lot of courtrooms. And a common thing is when people come up to court, they initially try to argue the facts, right? They think that, I don't know why they think this, but they think that when you get to come to court, that you get to argue your case. But that's not the way it happens. You show up to court and say, I am not guilty. And then they say, okay, come back in 3 months. As a matter of fact, I've been arrested for the same disorderly conduct at least 3 times. And I've yet to be convicted. I haven't even been to trial. We haven't even, I've been fighting for 3 years, but all they do is kick it down the road.
So you are also battling another set of charges related to a camping incident. Can you talk about what those charges are?
Yeah, it's really hard to talk about. And I've had lots of time to process it. And it hasn't helped even a little bit. It still hurts every time. So forgive me, but the charges that they put against me of child endangerment is usually reserved for people who do something, or leave their kids to go do dope or something, or something like that. And as a result of being charged with child endangerment, I wasn't able to even speak with my children for a year, a little over a year. It was 16 months actually, and before the court finally the prosecutor.
Yeah, tell me if you're innocent first and guilty. No, you're guilty first, and maybe if you're lucky, you're found innocent.
Finally decided to make a modification to the bond, which would allow me to communicate with them again. Only do it on certain times and things like that. So I get visitation with my kids, which is I think that's a rough term. It implies that one of us is. I mean that's what you. It's just a strange term, visitation. I get to visit with my children, and this is all before I've been convicted of anything. I have no convictions of any kind. So when they, my kids were already going through a rough spot, right? It was already rough. We were making the most of it at the time as it was. So now we have the court trying to tell not just me, but also my entire family and my extended family, how we can live and what rules we have to abide by, and none of us agree to these terms. Everybody thinks it's ridiculous, right? And I can't even tell my kids I love them. That was the absolute worst. And to be honest with you, I almost didn't make that. I almost didn't make it because that was the absolute roughest. It's like you get to. I still got pictures and things like that. So now, my kids are out there, and I know that they're going through some stuff, and I can't even talk to them about it. Right? I can't even write it. I can't do nothing. Just have to sit there and watch. And I was afraid that they thought that I abandoned them. So thankfully, my family is pretty awesome, and kept reminding them that Daddy loves them. So when I finally got to see him again, that was a pretty big deal, man. But it should have never happened. I wasn't doing anything at all. I was minding my own business, trying to do what they wanted me to do. I was trying to show up to court, and I just keep getting arrested on the way to court. It's fucked up. I made fun of them, and they crushed me as a result of it. And I don't want to say that I don't want to say they broke me, but they fucking might have. I am not the same person that I was 2 years ago, 3 years ago. My God, it's been 3 years, and I've had very little resolution on my case. The cases the only one that I even care about at this point is the camping with my children case, because that one has all the pain with it, and I miss my kids, man. The kids, when you got a 6-year-old and he hasn't seen his dad in 3 years, what the fuck? It's not like it's not like I disappeared. It's not like I ran off. I'm right here. I've been here the whole time. I just can't talk to him. It was like right before Christmas, and then all the birthdays right after that. I've missed a lot, man. I just hope it doesn't fuck them up. They offered to reduce the felony child endangerment to a misdemeanor as long as I plead guilty to everything that they accused me of, knowing that I have a federal lawsuit filed on them on the sign case, the Sepuis sign case, and I didn't even file that lawsuit until damn near 2 years after the event. They had plenty of time to dismiss that case, well before I ever filed a lawsuit. Now they're telling my attorney, and I do have an attorney on that case now, by the way. I couldn't afford that. I still can't afford it. Thankfully there's people who really give a shit about me, obviously. And if it wasn't for the generosity of people around and their, I don't even know. I don't understand that. But anyway, I have an attorney on that case now, and he told me that they said the Royce City Municipal Court, City Court, Guilty Court, the Guilty Court in Royce City said the prosecutor Jason Day, fuck you, said if I would drop my lawsuit, that they would dismiss the charges. Okay, well, why would you? Why, if you have been fighting a case for 3 years, why would? What do you mean? Right. My other attorney in a different case told me that the reason I'm wearing the ankle monitor and have been for 2 years is they want an insurance policy that I am not going to terrorize their town with the F word for at least the next couple of years. So
think about that, y'all. He has not been convicted. And a monitor is an outdoor prison. Right? With restriction. You can only do this and you can only do that. You are a prisoner with never a conviction.
I'm wearing an ankle monitor because people don't want to see my side, which is the exact reason why I have the sign to begin with, because shit is fucked up and nobody's doing anything about it.
So, Otto, I talked about Franz Kafka's book, The Trial, in a recent episode, and how the travails of the book's main character mirror the often absurd process of our criminal justice system. And I know you recently read it. What do you think?
Yeah, Franz Kafka, I believe he's a Czech author who writes a lot of stories about. It's kind of twisted. He's kind of like the Edgar Allan Poe of. I don't even know. He's kind of like Edgar Allan Poe. You know, everything's got a little twist on it that makes it just that much worse. And yeah, this is definitely from one of his books. I don't, and it's not just my case. We see a lot of this. You can't. The old folks might say that you can't win for losing. You know, and. In Kafka's the Trial, if I remember right, the main character is continuously trying to find out what he did. He's also trying to find out when and where he's supposed to be. They keep demanding that he shows up, but they don't tell him when and where. And that resonated. And then he's also trying to figure out what he did the whole time. And even after he's convicted, he still has no idea what he was ever even accused of. Those things resonate with me. And in my particular case,
and that actually happened to a family member of mine. Never getting a court date and then charged for not showing up at court. He got out of it, but still. It's happening on purpose to people they don't like.
We've been set for trial before, and they would change the date of the trial and not tell me. So I would show up to court, and there is no court. Mind you, I live in Colorado. It's a 10-hour drive at least to get there. So. And it's not just the 10 hours you drive there and you spend a day and then you have to drive back. It's expensive. And yeah, that's rough. And then to show up and it's all for naught. I've been fighting these cases, this quarterly. I've been fighting it for 3 years. That was 2018. And the Camping with Kids case, that was 2019. So these are getting along there. Speedy trial, you have a right to a speedy trial. That's a joke. That's another joke. It's one of those things that we want to believe because it sounds good, but in practice it doesn't exist. At least.
And that's between the attorneys. Not really the judges. The attorneys are the ones that's postponing all this.
my experience. So when Kafka's talking about going to court, this man has no idea why he's there. He doesn't know where he's supposed to go. He doesn't know anything. I still don't know why I'm facing child endangerment charges. I have an understanding only because I had an experience in pulling these records for myself. Otherwise, I still wouldn't know what the charge, what they were even alleging. All they said is that it was child endangerment, and I guess that because it was hot, or because there was no food or water, but that's not, none of those things are true. So even after 2 years, I don't know what I did that I wasn't supposed to do.
So I'm sure there are some viewers who might say, what's the big deal? Or why should we care if a guy named Otto the watchdog is facing a trial for holding a sign with a few random profanities? What does it matter? And how is it germane to the process of police accountability, especially since Otto made the choice to protest? Aren't there real cases of police brutality that need your attention? Well, let me explain why I think Otto's story.
All right, so we're going to end it right there, though. Check her out, okay? It gets me in the heart, y'all. You know, we keep on talking about the cops, but we never talk about these attorneys. And some of y'all out there know exactly what's going on. You know, number one, we need to really start following these bar agreements. You know, it may not work the first time with you, but if we all start dealing with the situations, which it seems like everybody in the United States is guilty, right? Which we are. That's what they believe. We are guilty and you got to prove your innocence. That's how they keep the masses under control. But if we start holding them accountable and start following bar agreements on the judge and the attorneys, and you start getting 6 or 7 or 9 or 10 bar agreements on these people, things will start changing. But we got this mindset that it's not going to do any good. You know. But how do we know if we don't never try it? I agree, it's thrown in the trash. Insurance, they got to tell the insurance that this has happened. They can't hide it. Or they do take a chance of losing their license. Which goes back into, it's time for due for your request on their insurance company and their bonds. Right? And tell them, look, I followed bar agreements against them. You know, so just be ready. You know, that scares the insurance company, y'all. All right, this will We the People News. Until next time, bye, y'all.